You know, when I put on these sunglasses, even the dog runs away. So yeah, I'm back. No thanks to you lot. No thanks to you lot. I mean, are you appreciating my return? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't trust you guys. I don't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have to be honest here. I don't trust you guys. Okay. Also, somebody commented like, "Oh yeah, I realized immediately you're also a South African, doing this." I wasn't hiding the fact that I'm South African, was I? No, I wasn't. Huh? I'm not one of the 49. I'm not one of the 49. If you don't know what that's a reference to, just Google 49 South Africans, whatever. Okay, I'm not getting into those guys. No. But if you're one of the 49 watching, you're also welcome. I mean, if anybody needs to be educated, it's you 49, right? Let's take a breather. Let's calm down. This is not what I'm here for. I'm not here. I promised myself this week I'm not gonna get combative. This week I'm gonna stay calm. So let's taking a deep breath here. Taking a deep breath. Not gonna fight you. I just want to do my January wrap up. What I read for January. And then we can go, get into the rest of it. Have a nice, peaceful, joyful unity. Oh, yeah. Oh, the word community, I don't like it. But the sense of community. Let's listen. I'm a loner, okay? I like being alone. Maybe I'll try. I have friends. I see them once every 6 months. Talk to them for a short while. I like the phone. Phone for FaceTime. That's good. That's about as close as I like people to me. Okay. Anything closer than that, you get on my nerves. You get. I'm probably lying. Why am I going on about this? This has nothing to do with books, does it? I'm venting my frustrations. Did I just apologize? Nobody with sunglasses on should apologize. That's just one of the tenets of the universe. Sunglasses, apologies, they don't go together. Let's this is, I'm not studying. No, this is not gonna work for me. You're distracting me. You are distracting me. Let's get to the wrap up. Oh man. Keep causing troubles, you guys. No man. First, let's do the comic books I read in January. I count mangas as well under this, but I didn't read any mangas. So, but yeah. First one I read, the classic, I guess you can call it classic. Oh, can you even see that Batman? Look at the white. So the white is still combative. I'm trying to get it like a little bit more shadows. You can see the shadow on my face here, close a little bit. But then this thing is so white. So white. I mean, it's whiter than me. Yeah, it's so white. Batman Noir, Hush. It's Hush. Okay, it's Hush by Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee was the artist. So a little bit of the art, yeah. So this is the black and white version. So I don't know if any of this is gonna pick up on the camera. Probably not. It is damn good art though. Can't complain about it. The art in this is great. Yeah, look at Poison Ivy days. Maybe I should. Is that allowed to be shown on YouTube? Is that not appropriate? Yeah, look, listen. Jim Lee painting the ladies. He knows how to do it. We'll leave it at that. He knows how to do it. Lois Lane, Poison Ivy, and Catwoman. You're gonna fall in love with Catwoman in this one. And in this one, you really get that vibe of Catwoman will break your heart and take everything you have. That's really, this is the best version of Catwoman I've ever seen. But the story, and this is actually if I have to get into the story, the Batman Catwoman relationship in this and how it evolves is the best I've ever seen. Catwoman was always like an interesting character for me, never one of the favorites. In here, she really becomes like one of my favorites. Having said that, I don't feel this is as good as its predecessors in The Long Halloween and what's that one? Dark Victory. Oh man, I love Dark Victory. Should get back to read that again. But no, it was enjoyable and I really enjoyed it. I mean, the art's great, the story was interesting. Although the mystery is not that mysterious, surprising, whatever. But no, I mean, Hush is awesome, and especially this nice version. No. Yeah, that was nice. Okay, so next from that, I went on to Grant Morrison and Frank Quietly. Your surname's Quietly? Okay, cool, dude. I have no judgment here. New X-Men, E is for Extinction. A lot of the book is not necessarily the greatest, but when it hits hard. And Morrison does have some lines in here that's just brilliant. And yeah, some of the events wild in this one. I did enjoy it. It wasn't my favorite of the month, but yeah, it was fun. Morrison definitely has always interesting ideas. Yeah, there's the art. This guy is very. I enjoy this guy. Okay, whoever he is. It is like, I mean, the E's for Extinction kind of says it. I do like this opening a lot, where it's about the Neanderthals getting killed by the Homo sapiens and stuff. So now, it's a lot to love about this one. I would definitely not recommend it. I'm really gonna recommend it. I don't know what it is. A lot of luck. I did enjoy it. I didn't like all of it, but I did enjoy it. Yeah. New Avengers Breakout. This was like, yeah. Who's this? Brian Michael Bendis and David Finch. Yeah. I'll say that what's mentioning, the art is really great in this one. I love the art. Really well done. The first chapter, especially the beginning of it, with the breakout actually happening, that's really cool. I really enjoy that specific storyline. I will say this about some of the rest of it. I like all the characters in the team, and there's some really great characters in the team but I don't know how much I like this team actually. But it's solid. I will say I prefer E for Extinction a bit more. I enjoyed it a bit more. It's not a bad book. So it does a good job, but it's not my favorite. But yeah, no, it's not bad anyways. I mean, always if the art's great, that's so good already. Yeah, and there was definitely interesting stuff in here. But the beginning was better than the end. I will say that. That's what it is. The last comic book I read was another Grant Morrison. This was Superman Action Comics, Volume 3, and at the end of days. Should probably read Volume 1 and 2 first, but hey, I didn't have them, so yeah. I was into the first 2 chapters of this one, and it was really not like, I was like, I don't know about this. This doesn't seem like. And then suddenly Grant Morrison in chapter 3 gets into his complete trippy, like, broken narratives, different timelines running through everywhere. Like, you're struggling to follow around. And that I loved. Then it just took off at chapter 3. And it just went. And you could kind of see what they were doing with chapter 1 and 2, how they were building to this. Even though I didn't, I guess, appreciate them for what they were at the moment. The rest of this was just, I loved it. It gave me something weird and kooky and strange and hard to follow. And I'm going to be in it. Superman was awesome in this. The bad guy name is, what is it? It's one of those that you can't say because it doesn't have any vowels in it. It's not a famous one, not Mr. Polinsky. It's the other one. Let's show some of the art in here, and then you kind of see the art is great, especially later on. And it's like, it just jumps around all different situations, stuff, really good. And Superman gets his ass kicked often, which is always great. Or not, I don't know. Maybe you don't like Superman getting his ass kicked. He wins, man. Calm down. It's Superman. This is not a death of Superman. Although there is the second death of Superman in here. Spoilers, I don't know. But I mean, it's Superman. Hey, listen. I love what Grant Morrison did here, especially with the later chapters. I had a lot of fun with this weird, trippy, different timelines when stuff is taking place and happening, people jumping through, fifth dimensional creatures coming in, and how they're having fun with it. I don't know. Does it sound like I enjoyed it? I really did enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, let's do it now, right? Why wait? Why wait? My favorite comic book of January. It is a bit of a tight race. I will say it is definitely between At the End of Days, the Superman Action Comics, and Hush. Having yeah. Ultimately, let's go. Now, my favorite comic book of January was Hush, and now we're back to the white that's trying to kill me. No, I mean it is. It does squeak out for me what Grant Morrison did with At the End of Days, especially and it's really it is the story is interesting. The mystery is parts of it's interesting, although you kind of if you know you kind of know who's the bad guy here, and there are great moments in it, like whoa, yeah, especially yeah. I don't want to spoil, but there's some really great with Superman. There's a really great sequence of Superman in Metropolis in here. But it is at the heart of this is definitely the relationship between Batman and Catwoman, Selina Kyle and Bruce Wayne, and where it goes and what they do. That just makes it really it elevated Catwoman as a character for me so much. And at the same time, you look at her and she's gonna break my heart and take everything. She's not gonna leave me with nothing. Nothing. She's one of those. She's one of those. No, she doesn't. She doesn't care about you. She does. She does. She does care about you. She's emotional. She's human. She cares about you. But you can't trust it. It's gonna break your heart and take everything. And then you're gonna be all alone, on BookTube, talking with. I'm not talking about myself. I'm not in a situation like that. But never mind. Hush. Hush. Let's go back. Favorite comic. Hush. Now, moving on from that, let me get into the non-fiction. I read two non-fiction books in January. Non-fiction books in January. If you want to skip this part, because this is the non-fiction books are always hard to talk about because you always feel like you have to add a little bit more. You have to talk a bit more what it's about. So it kind of gets boring. I get it. I will not hold it against you because I know you guys don't have a good ability to what's it. Attention deficit disorder, is that what it is? You can't concentrate, right? You need fast, snappy stuff. Non-fiction is not your thing, right? It ain't. Well, I'm still going to talk about it. Just skip to the next time code. I mean, we know. There's no hope for you, so it's fine. You can skip. The first one I read was David Williams' Op die Grens, White Man's Military Experience. Witman's Military Ervaring. Okay, the version I read is in Afrikaans. I do think you can find an English version of it. I'm not linking anything for you at the bottom except you can find my Instagram there, but I'm not linking. Just look at the name and Google it. And listen to if you're looking for look at the offer, go search for it. I don't know, figure it out. I'm not going to link everything for you to make it easy. So this is about a border war. It's kind of a summary of the border war in some ways. I think this is probably from the little bit stuff I read in the border war. I'll say this book is a good introduction into it because it's quite short, quite fast, but it kind of focuses on the experience of the soldiers that were sent by South Africa and what they experienced there and how some of them look back on it kind of fondly. Others look back on it with and why were we there? What was it? Why did the government need us to do this? So this was also, I remember this back in apartheid time. So it was on the border war was taking place in Angola, a lot of it, and in the upper north of Namibia. And it was against, it is so strange to explain it will take so long, even with a short book like this, to explain all the different factions and characters and stuff that happened there. But it does go into the military, the bigger military operations and how they took place and stuff. Controversies around it, the experiences of the soldiers is the main focus, and then how it is even remembered today, and the things that are being said, positive and negative, and from both sides, to kind of propagandize this era in South African history, right? Or this military thinking, it is also one of the weirdest because it's called the border war. lasted for like 30 years, 25 years, 25 years. Okay, but it doesn't. It's not really war. There was never a war like an announced or a declaration of war. It doesn't function like a war. But the thing that's very important about this that you should probably know is that all white males in South Africa were forced basically to do at least 1 or 2 years of military service at the border, and then sometimes we called up several more times, like try and get in a sense peace stuff together of this weird time, because the South African government wasn't telling anybody what they were doing up there or anything. So it was a very strange one. And I have several more on the border war stuff that I'm going to read. I can definitely, if you want to start to learn about it, this is definitely a good place to start by David Williams. He definitely does. He gives it from all the sides, from different perspectives and what people were thinking about it and what he say. He was also he was also called up to go there. One of the more shocking things in here is what happened to people that refused to go. And many on religious bounds, it was, what are the Jehovah's Witnesses? What they did to the Jehovah's Witnesses because they refused. Oh, it's awful stuff. They would imprison you, but it was not your average prison. Yeah, it was quite hectic. So definitely worth looking into this. I read one more non-fiction book, and that's a much lighter tale. It's called Die Wit Bushman by Peter Stark. Peter Stark is, if you translate it, the White Bushman. Which Peter Stark, the writer, it's his life. He's telling a story of his life, or a big part of his life. I was kind of annoyed by the name the first time. It's like, who calls himself like it's like some people saying I'm the white Kendrick Lamar. I don't know. No, just be you. Why are you the white? I'm the White Bushman. I think this one is available in English. I also read after the conversation. I think it's available in English. But what I'll say about this is the title's actually quite apt. This guy deserves to. He spent most of his time living with Bushmans, working with them, living with them, learning their ways, and yeah. He used to be a hunter and a poacher in the beginning. This guy, this is such a different time. So it's like the 1930s up to the 19s. Yeah, it's probably to the 1950s up to the 1970s somewhere. This plays off. They don't really give that many dates in it. The guy was he was a poacher. He loved horse riding and hunting. That was the two things he loved the most. He killed so many lions. If you'd hate this guy so much today. It's just the amount of lions. But it was they lived on cattle farms. The climbs were just, they didn't work. Yeah, so they have to if there was lions, they had to get rid of them. Like if you want to accept that justification. Again, he even shot elephants sometimes, but he never liked that. And then he went from being the poacher, and actually because it was against the Etosha Wildlife Reserve in Namibia, up in the north of Namibia as well. And then he became a warden at the wildlife reserve with the main goal of catching poachers just like him. And he became great at it. He did a lot of other stuff as well with animals and construct stuff, but his main task, capture poachers that like him. The guy that came to him, you know the job, you know how poachers work, let's get you in, you will do it. And some people were like, how could this guy hire the biggest poacher to come catch poachers? It worked. It's really a great story about like anecdotes and the crazy stories and the things that happen. Yeah. The stories with elephants are also really great. How any elephants that escaped, they would help to herd back in the way they had to do it. Because, elephants aren't just going to get herded by a guy on a horse just that easily. So, no, it's a fascinating, interesting, unique life. Like, one of a kind type of life that I don't think anybody can quite live anymore in this day and age. Maybe, unless for a few places in the world. Yeah, and it's strange how this guy really did walk in multiple worlds. So he kind of saw most of everything. But he was a guy that he just loved being in the veld, being in nature, and just going about it. Crazy, insane stories. Like, you really wonder. I think you might have added a little bit onto some of these. But you take it with a pinch of salt, but it's probably mostly true. Okay, right. It's a lot of fun. Even if half of it's lies, it's still great stories. And then it's like, then you have to give the guy credit for an amazing, which I believe. I don't think it is. I think from the other sources, it's no. This is probably reasonably accurate. At a time of life when you still needed to hunt lions, just think about that. It wasn't like an oh no, they're endangered species. No, no, no. There were still a lot of them, and they were just ruining your cattle industry if you had a cattle farm. So no, enjoy it. I really enjoyed it a lot. Okay, now let's get into the fiction books I read. Like, so you will kind of come idea. Oh, wait, this guy. I read like 4 different type of things at one time. I'm reading 1 comic book, 1 non-fiction, 1 what I call like normal fiction, where classics, literary fiction, historical fiction, romance, anything like that falls under. And then I read my fantasy books or sci-fi. Like, so I feel like those 4 genres are different enough that I don't get my wires mixed up when I'm reading. So I enjoy doing it like that. Let's call them mundane. I'll call them mundane fiction. It sounds like I'm hating on him. I'm not hating on him. It's just it's not the fantastical of the fantasy, okay? Let me drink some water. You want to see me drink some water? Yeah. Maybe I should start an OnlyFans where I just drink water. People pay me. You think I can make some money there? Maybe, yeah. There's weird people out here, right? People won't do anything, right? They'll pay to watch anything. Never mind. Let's get back to this. The first one I read was a classic, The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. Very short, he packs so much into this. If you are a fan of the musical, the famous musical, there's surprisingly a lot of the musical in here. Not the song. Although some of the songs get their names from like stuff that are clearly in here. Hands at the level of your eye. Oh, man, I couldn't believe that was actually in here. And Don Juan Triumphant's also in here. I was so surprised. This is a great. First of all, it should stand next to Frankenstein, Dorian Gray, which I haven't read yet. Dracula as like that dark noir monster sci-fi, not sci-fi, dark noir, gothic. Gothic is the word I was looking for. Yeah, gothic. That gothic element of that era, right? The writer alleges this is a true story, by the way. But so far, there's no evidence. There is no evidence that this is a true story. But he alleges, but apparently that was a thing the writer did. He did it till the day he died, which is interesting. Yeah, but that also leans into the writing style, and the writing style changes a bit how he's doing it. Apparently, yeah, it was released in like in pieces through a publication, like in a magazine or something. I don't know. Serialized. It was serialized. It is surprisingly funny with the most teenage love story in here. It's like goofy, crazy teenage stuff. The Phantom is legitimately creepy and scary. It was so much fun. It's like a great horror and a great comedy and a decent love story. Also a decent, an annoying teenage love story, which is actually great. An annoying teenage love story is one of the most entertaining things you can do if you do it right. And Gaston Leroux did it right. This book should really be more well known because it's completely overshadowed by the musical, the book itself. Even the Gaston Leroux is not most famously remembered for this. He's remembered for other stuff. More like there was a detective story she used to write, which you can see that elements in here. But it is just pick it up, read it. It's a lot of fun. I'm gushing. It's amazing. It's amazing. And what he pulls off here, and the speed at which it goes, but also the revelations and stuff like that. It works as a good mystery thriller, gothic mystery thriller with an annoying teenage love story. Yeah, if that doesn't sell you on it, then nothing will sell you on it. The next one I read on my Mundane fiction was Louis L'Amour, The Quick and the Dead. This is my second Louis L'Amour. No. It's the third Louis L'Amour book I read. But the one I read years ago, and then one I just read at the end of last year that I really liked. So no, I have to pick up some more sooner. The Tall Stranger was the one I read last year. This one, The Quick and the Dead, I like a little bit more. Even though I will say the structure of The Tall Stranger felt a bit more tighter and better. But I guess it's not Louis L'Amour still really tries to make you feel like you are not just following the story, but following these people as if it's actually happening to them and how it would in those circumstances, but still with a pace to it. The main character in here, what's your name again? Convillian. He's both awful and amazing, right? Kind of an anti-hero, but not really an anti-hero. He's a hero that talks like he's an anti-hero. That's what I say. Says awful stuff to the people. He's actually cares about and helping them. Like, even like in the book, it's like in the first. So this is not even a spoiler. It's like in the first few pages, he comes on this family whose horses has been stolen. He saw that their horse was stolen, so he tells them, "Listen, your horses are gone." The husband wants to go get them back, and he tells him, "No, but you're gonna have to go for gun. These guys will not." And then when the husband's gone, he literally looks to the wife and says, "Listen, your husband's probably not coming back. He's probably gonna die. So you have kind of a choice between those guys that took the horses or me." I'm like, dude, what the? Hey, yeah, you clearly have not been in society for a while now. This is how it starts. This is like the first few starts. Like, yeah. And this is the good guy. And he does, but it's great. A lot of fun. Louis L'Amour has his ability to really make characters pop. And even with just a few moments and scenes, it's like not one or two characters, but like every character gets their moment or like the details to like really get in. And he does it over so short period that, yeah. And his stories never drag. I had a lot of fun with this. Just, yeah. Definitely recommend. Definitely recommend. Okay, the last of the Mundane fictions, another classic. Oh, I'm holding up a whole collection of Jane Austen's books. Wow, bam! Oh, this is one of my favorite. Was for a while my favorite book. It's Pride and Prejudice, by the way. I read Pride and Prejudice. I have listened to the audiobook before because it was free. Then I got this beauty. Look at the gold pages there. Look at the thick boy. Look at the nice. I got it for like a steal. It was basically the same price as like a hardcover, not even special edition, just the normal hardcover of a new book. It was like that price. I couldn't believe it, and I got all of them. Yo, okay. Pride and Prejudice is my favorite love story of all time. Guarantee. It actually kind of ruins the rest of romance, okay? No, Elizabeth Bennet, I will die for Elizabeth Bennet. I will destroy the world for Elizabeth Bennet, okay? Now, obviously, that's not going to work. Elizabeth Bennet is not the type of person that wants. She's not like these modern romantic or romantasy heroines that want you to destroy the world for them. They know she'll be like, "What? No, that's awful. Be a good person. Be a decent person to the rest of the world." Elizabeth Bennet, yeah. And Mr. Darcy, what a guy. What a fascinating. The way the character grows and changes in this. And what I especially noticed when rereading is how well it is actually plotted. Like, there's no real loose ends, nor is there like in what you would call what do you call it? Like in gaps, inconsistencies, like stuff. This doesn't make sense. How did it? No, she goes into the details to make everything, even though it's just like over 200 something pages. She makes sure that everything makes sense, and it's not just like flammy, woomy. I love this so much. No, hard recommend for anybody. Pride and Prejudice. This is definitely my favorite love story. And Jane Austen, just prose are so whimsical and awesome and funny and satirical. And I feel like I might be when I listened to all of the audiobooks of it, and I was like, Mansfield Park is my favorite. But I'm thinking now maybe that was just that could have maybe just been because of the audio voice, the reader, the audio voice reader. What? I forgot the name, and I'm not even going to try and figure it out now. Whoever performed it, Mrs. Thompson or something. I think I'm not. That doesn't matter. When I read it, like, I don't think she's ever funnier than she is in Pride and Prejudice. Each character is clearly a separate entity and different from the other ones. Everybody should read Pride and Prejudice. At least try it. Even if romance is not your thing, because I don't think romance really is my thing. I haven't read a lot of it. Come on, guys. This is so good. On to the last fantasy and sci-fi books I read. I read two. The one is definitely fantasy. The other one, I've heard people call it sci-fi. I think it leans more fantasy, but even that's a spoiler in that book. So let me not say too much about it. And first, man, I took my dog for a walk. Up some hills. I'm not a small guy, you can see that. So yeah, it's like a hike type of thing, and that's me up. That firstly, okay. I'm talking. That doesn't talking tire you out. Let's just get to the fancy books, okay? I'm getting tired. I am really not. Yeah. Always when I get excited about the books, and then I remember, oh, what you guys? Then I remember about I'm actually doing this, and you are the ones I'm still struggling with. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think you appreciate this, right? Never mind. Like, first fancy book I read for January for 2026. Boom. Boom. Let me learn. That's not. I don't. Okay. Let the camera do. Let me let the camera do the voice. Boom. Yeah, man. A Game of Thrones. George R. R. Martin, the legendary. Yeah. Can you believe I'm only getting to this in the big 26? Yeah, the big 26. So obviously I've watched the show. This one, from what I understood, keeps the show and this keeps the closest together. So you're gonna. Did I like the book more than the show? Yes, I did like the book more than the show. Because of course I'm going to. Because there's like stuff that like there's a battle that you don't really see in the show that you get the full thing. Yeah. There are stuff that the show added in, like small scenes that because they're not from one of the POV characters in here, you didn't see in here, which I really liked in the show. But ultimately, and then there's the things that happen in the book itself. The way it happens in the book is very different from the show. A few things, and it's so amazing. And you get into the lore and like more, especially getting to get Ned Stark's inner thoughts, because that stuff you lost, and that reveals a lot about things that only late in the show, and I guess that's not even fully revealed in the book yet, from what I understand. Which is awesome. And getting into the deeper lore and stuff, that's just, I love that kind of stuff. That's amazing. So of course I'm going to like the book more. One scene in specific I want to shout out in here that was for me so much better than the way they did in the book, because they changed it completely in the book, is how Sansa finds out how Sandor Clegane, the Hound, got his burn on his face. The way it is done in here is just, it is so much, and I wish they actually did it in the show. But I mean, I kind of understand why they didn't do it that way in the show, because it's, for a lot of reasons, story structure and stuff like that, it would have struggled, because they would have had to add other stuff to do it in the show. Like, so I understand why they did it in the show that way, but it's so good, that scene. Wow, I wish it was. No, I mean, did it live up to the hype? Yes, definitely. No, it does definitely live up to the hype. I mean, I was like, well, no, this is going to be my book of the month. For sure. For sure. Okay. Then, after I finished, so it took a while to finish this bad boy, I picked up Piranesi after this. Susanna Clarke's legendary. I think it's at this legendary. And one of those that became a classic the moment it was released, right? This is like instant classic. If ever there's an instant classic, Piranesi is probably it. I don't want to tell you. All I want to say is this is one of the greatest journeys as a reader I've ever went on. I don't know if you one of the greatest discoveries. As you don't read Piranesi, or you don't go on a journey in Piranesi. You discover Piranesi. I think. Like let's get some. Let me get full douchey here, right? Let me get super douchey. You discover Piranesi is not to be read or to be experienced, it's to be discovered. Oh. Yeah, okay, I don't know what the last was. Unbelievable. What Susanna Clarke pulled off here, unbelievable. I don't want to tell you anything about it, because this is, if there's a book you should go in not knowing anything about, it's this book. Anybody I've seen so far trying to talk about it, I feel like they kind of spoil stuff. Because then you're going to look out for it, and you shouldn't be looking out for that stuff. Yeah, cheap pulls off stuff in here that I want to do a spoiler discussion of Piranesi. Really, I think I will eventually do it, because there's things that Susanna Clarke pulls off in this book that is undoubtedly the greatest. It's masterful, and she's both a genius and just one of the great artists when it comes to writing. All I will say, this is, and I'll only read the first line on the blurb or the back, whatever. And I think this is the only thing you need to know. You don't even need to read the rest of it. Just read the first line, and it says this. Piranesi lives in the house. Perhaps he always has. You shouldn't go with anything more than that. You should really not even go into this. Man, my love for this book, yeah, this is truly something unique and special. I don't think I can point to anything else like this. Which is my book of the month? I will say this was such a strong month. This was such a strong month. I could easily see other months where, like, The Quick and the Dead might have been a dark horse. Maybe take it if like the Phantom of the Opera. I could definitely see winning other months, right? But it was those two. By the end, was not even in contention. It was really between three books: Pride and Prejudice, A Game of Thrones, and Piranesi. And I think if I had to go sit and do my top 10 books of all time, all three of these books at this point will probably, yeah, that's how great it is. That's how great my genre is. Now it also has to be said, I read mostly Malazan and nonfiction for a long time. It is hard. It's really hard to choose between these three. I don't even know what. I really don't know what order they will be. I have to something. I don't want to make it a tie. That would be wrong. I will say this because I have experienced, at least in some versions, like both Pride and Prejudice and The Game of Thrones before. Even though these were the best versions of them that I've experienced, I will go with the one I've never experienced before. I will give it to Piranesi. I'll give it to Piranesi. That's how special this book was. And I mean, I feel like I will say, Piranesi is definitely my book of the month. This is such a unique, great journey. I will make a full spoiler one for that. I don't want to talk anything, but all I have to say is, if you love reading, and if you like stories, if you like reading and you like stories, and I mean, that's kind of like, there's definitely a Venn diagram where those two go across. This is made for you. This is made for you. And I will say this, your brain will try to puzzle through what's going on, and it's fine, but don't focus on that. Just be in it, experience it. It is so much fun. It is so vivid and unique. And it's really one of the few books that I can write. I can't point to anything else where I think, oh, it's kind of similar to that. And I wouldn't even if there was something that I could think of. I wouldn't even, because even I feel like that would be a spoiler. And Susanna Clarke. This is my first Susanna Clarke, and no. There's two more books I know of her. I know she doesn't bring out a lot of books. I'm definitely getting, but Strange and Morel, I'm definitely picking that up. That's how amazing this is. Yeah. I just want to share with you my February reading plans, the stuff I've already read, and what I'm still planning to read, so you have an idea what to expect for next month's wrap up. First thing I finished was this is Brian from Beltube. I watched one of his videos and he says, if everything goes down in the dumps and there's a problem, we'll have a way to know when he's getting desperate and his channel has been down in the dumps. He will start reviewing this. He'll start reading this and reviewing it because apparently it's so popular. So now I'm feeling like, okay, I'm starting with this. So I'm like just trying to get views here. But I already bought it before then. I finished volume 1 of the One Piece manga. One Piece is just at this point super popular. I will say this is my thing with One Piece. I was watching the anime and I really loved the first few episodes, and then before we got to episode 20, I'll get into more details when I get to that volume. And I was like, I can't. But I like the story so much. I was like, I think I want to read this. I think if I read this, I will really, really like it throughout. So yeah, that was the first read so far for February that I finished. I was excited for it, and I was justified to be excited. Another comic I finished, well, that's a manga. But I mean, I'm putting them on the same. The stuff with pictures. X-Men Gifted. This is the Josh Whedon, John Cassaday. Cassaday is the artist. Yeah, this one surprised me. I had way more fun with this. So, Josh Whedon's Go Quippy stuff definitely translated to this. That was amazing. But I mean, I don't want to go into too much detail on anything. Leave for wrap up. On the fantasy, on the book side, I finished the fantasy first, which I had started this one. I was about halfway through by the end of January, so I'm kind of glad. So I didn't have to count for January because that would have made it January just even more difficult and impossible. Dune by Frank Herbert. Yeah, I know, guys. I know everybody's read this stuff, and I'm only getting it now. Calm down, okay? Calm down. Okay, I'll get through all the good stuff, and then I'll start reading the crap you're reading right now, and then I can tell you, I can be crying, yeah, I know this stuff is not as good as the old stuff. Or maybe I'll be different. Maybe because I love books. Maybe I'll be like, no, you're all wrong. This new stuff is the best. But like, man, Dune, awesome, by the way. The non-fiction, I finished one book. Brother Twist, Brother Twist, Brother. I have to do translating again. What's brother? What's twist? Twist in English. The brothers were not getting along. Okay, two brothers during the Anglo-Boer War. Christian de Wet and Peter Wet. They were famous. Christian is a very famous general of the in the Boer War. Pete was his famous brother. Was also a good general in the beginning, and then he changed sides and went to the English. And the fallout from that. And this follows the brothers against each other and the different points of view and how they are remembered in South Africa today by the different groups in South Africa, specifically the Afrikaners, and like goes in there. And is the one, and why is the one praised and the other one maligned, and is that fair, and how that opinions have changed from some people to others. I did enjoy it, by the way, but okay, that was the explanation. I did enjoy it. That's what I'll say. I'll get into more of that later. And then I finished one more fantasy. What is the sci-fi? You guys tell me. I believe it is Lit RPG. If I'm wrong in that, also tell me, because I haven't read Lit RPG before this, and I think this one. Solo Leveling Volume 1, the light novel. Yeah. So not the pictures, the light novel, as it was originally intended. Obviously, it's the translated English version. I'll be honest. I didn't really want to watch the show, and then my nephews forced me, because nephews, nah. And then I love the show. And some of the criticism I had about the show I don't agree with. I feel like if you say there's no growth or no story, it's because you're not paying attention and you're on your phone when you're watching it. That's your fault. Okay? And yeah, this is very close to what the show is. Obviously, the show has the great visuals. You can see it, like, and this doesn't go into that detail, but it kind of gives a good summation, and I guess it helps that. But I kind of like, I'm not gonna wait. I want to find out what the full story is, so I'm not gonna wait. So yeah, I got the first of the light novels, first of the 8. If you look there, you might see there are other ones behind me. I had fun with it. I'll have to talk about it at the end of the month. Okay, so the other things that I'm still reading, and these ones, I'm already busy reading all of these, although the one I'm going to start today after this video at some point, I'm going to start, so I haven't read a word of it yet. I'm hoping, I believe I will finish all of these before the end of the month. This one, I'm like 10 pages in, An African History of Africa by Zainab Badawi. I could be saying that name wrong. So far, really good. We're still with the hominids back in the day. So it tells the whole history of Africa. That's kind of the story, and it focuses most of the book, I think, like the post-colonials or the colonialism and that stuff in the European, and when they arrived, it's like from here or somewhere, like maybe here. And remember, there's like 40 pages. That's just like references and notes. So this is I've been looking for a book like this, because I'm also like this book was written for the idea that most of African history is always just from when the Europeans arrived, and I was very interested in what happened before that and all that stuff. And this is like a big picture, taking the whole of Africa in. And I'm thinking, like, usually books like this, and I will say Oppie Grens does that too with the border wars. Well, you read this and then you find out, oh, that specific one, I want to go learn more about that, and you go, and it shows you where to go. But so far, the writing is really engaging, even though I'm literally just started. I think I'm going to have a great time with this. One I've started, like, okay, I've read the first 2 chapters. Vinland Saga, book 1. Yeah, I'll finish this by the end. But this is wow! I can't wait. I can't wait. Yo, I'm almost man. Yo, there's just that's all I'm gonna say of the first 2 chapters of Vinland Saga. Yo. Then this book I'm gonna start today because I finished the solo leveling one yesterday. This is Crown of Shadows by Stephanie Firth. This is an African author writing. It's published as a young adult fantasy. I'm excited for this. They're done by Crest House. Crest House is an independent. If you can see that, the thing is black. Let me show you. It doesn't show up that nice in this book. It shows up nicer when it's a dark book with the white Crest House logo. They're like an indie publishing house in South Africa. I've read a few stuff from them. Some of the Michael Ferguson books I was talking about last week was published through them, and like the Kelly H book was also published through Crest House. I am excited to read this. I'm going to try and do one South African author that in the fiction, non-fiction is always going to be a South African author. It's like I read so much non-fiction South African author, but I don't have that. I've neglected them in the fiction and fantasy. So I'll try either one mundane fiction or one fantasy fiction South African author a month, and this one it will be Crown of Shadows by Stephanie Firth. I know nothing of this book. One I've been working on since the start of the year, and this book is beating. This book's beating out of me, man. Yes, this book is mean. James Joyce Ulysses. I am just over halfway. Just look at that. How it's written in this. That you can see you're gonna struggle to read it. Like that's Yeah, and Ulysses changed the way. No, not Ulysses. I'm all making them. James Joyce changes the way he writes, and it is confusing. The story is kind of straightforward. I'm not gonna say that. You will follow the story along, the basic story, but he adds so much detail into everything and so expressive in his own unique way that you sometimes have no idea what he's talking about or what he's describing at that moment. Even though it's just people talking, walking down the street, and then he's just going, because there's like this also stream of consciousness thing, but in a very poetic way. And especially the part I'm reading now. There are parts here that read kind of much easier and much more, you will make more sense of it. And then there are parts like where I'm right now that's just beating me to death. Whoa. The writing is beautiful. But I'm not aware, I'm a lot of time not sure what the hell he's talking about and how the sentences work together. This is your Ulysses, James Joyce. You are a spiteful bastard. I was like, it's good that I'm making this video now, because if I was doing it in a different month, I would say, I'm gonna read Ulysses and I'm gonna read something else that I don't think I'm gonna finish another mundane fiction book. This is the one, and I don't even think I'm gonna finish it like on a date. I'll probably have to take like 2 or 3 days into March just to finish this. Damn. There's like at least a part here, like I want to show you, like, so here there's like 100 pages where it seems to be almost written like a play form. Man, I can't see shit. Where I think at least there I should be going faster through it. And there's like really, there's parts of this book where you will read like 10 pages like that. The way it's written. And then there's other ones it takes you an hour to read 10 pages. And you feel like you've been pummeled. Like you've been in a fight. I mean, anybody who's ever said that Malazan, I will let him say, if you've ever said that Malazan is complicated and difficult to read, which I don't agree with at all, do not pick this up. This will murder you. This is mean. James Joyce is not a friendly guy. He was not nice. He's not holding your hand. He's literally beating you with whatever. Let's say a cast iron pot. He's beating you with a cast iron pot over the head while you are reading his book. That is how it feels. Okay, that's how it feels. I'm enjoying it. It's kind of an amazing experience. I'm not gonna lie. This is kind of an amazing experience. Very brutal, very brutal. So not this stuff that happens in this movie. Not really that brutal. It's like it's a day in a life. It's a day in a life story. But damn, James Joyce, you're evil. You are purest evil. You are, yeah, I know. You are like serial killer level evil. I am convinced of that. If a serial killer was a writer, if he decided serial killer decided, no, I don't want to write, I don't want to kill people, I want to write. James Joyce. James Joyce. Am I slandering the man? I'm pretty sure he's dead. I think he would appreciate that. He seems like the guy that wants you to say stuff like that about him. That's infuriating. But okay, that's it. Then that's the wrap up. That's the wrap up. Nothing more. Nothing more to say. Oh my God, nothing more to add. Got through this. Man, oh man, having to talk with you guys, having to do this for you, you're like a little chicken, and I feed you, and you're like little chicks, and you don't want to grow up, and I'm trying my best here, and you don't appreciate it, and I know you don't appreciate it. I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but did you appreciate it? I mean, I'm reading Ulysses, I'm suffering through Ulysses. It's a great experience, but I'm suffering. It doesn't just because it's an amazing, unique, and very wild experience doesn't mean I'm not suffering. Okay, for you, the people. Did you recognize that? That's my bane. It's my bane. For you, the people. Oh, listen. I didn't even introduce myself in the beginning, right? So why would I? I don't introduce myself. If you don't know I'm the anonymous librarian by now, from the title, when will you know it? Well, I am the anonymous librarian. You can call me L. I prefer if you don't call me at all. If you want to leave a comment down there, fine. I can roast you for your comment next week. Or not. Or I'll just ignore it. I'm going to bring a video out next week that I might actually be asking you guys for some advice. Okay? So, if you don't think I don't want to, I do sometimes on here, but well, I take your advice. Never mind that. Let's continue on with our lives, and as I always say, and let me address this first, because before people are like, no, why are you saying, why is your slogan at the end, books over bitches? Is that like, are you against them? No. That is a sexist statement on your account, because let me tell everybody out there very loud and clear, men can be bitches too. And in fact, I think there's more men that are bitches than the women that are bitches. That's why I'm saying books over bitches. Books over bitches. We live by it. We go by it. Books are better than bitches. It's not necessarily better than people. There are decent people out there, and you can meet them, talk to them. You have a wife, you love your wife, talk to them. You have a wife, you don't love it, read a book. I mean, I don't want to get into your marriage. I'm sure it's not. I'm sorry it's not. I am actually genuinely sorry that you're having marital troubles. I am. And if you're happy in your marriage, nobody cares. I don't care if you're happy. Congratulations. Be happy. Smile. Whatever. And if you're not, my sincerest condolences. And if you have kids, that's just a fact. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you have kids. My apologies. I mean, well, kids are not that bad, right? Let's if you have teenagers. If you have teenagers, I feel sorry for you. But I mean, we do the best we can. This outro is getting too long now. Let's just go on. Like, you guys, I need to get back to reading. You guys need to get back to reading. And I need to send this off to my editor, who's like, apparently he's roasting me or something. I don't know what it's like. Apparently he's doing weird stuff with the video. I don't like this guy. You know. This is what you have to do everything yourself. If you give it to an editor, he starts doing funky things, making you look like an idiot and stuff. I mean, I'm a cool guy. I'm gonna look at my hat. Look at my hat. Let's ignore that sweat spot there. Just now. Look at my cool ass glasses. Look how cool I look. Look at me with the glasses on. Now look at me without the glasses on. I mean, it's two different people, right? The glasses is it. This is the anonymous librarian. This is the wonder. This is the magic. As I said, go read some books. Books over bitches.